I'm Virginie Naigeon-Malek. I'm the Global Head for Sustainability and Social Impact at Mary Kay Inc. First, let's share a quick definition from UN Women. What is gender-responsive procurement? Gender-responsive procurement, also referred to as GRP, is the sustainable selection of services, goods, or public works from women-owned or women-led enterprises and also gender-responsive businesses, thus having gender-responsive policies and practices for employees and supply chains. In other words, GRP is an opportunity for companies to support women's entrepreneurship by putting more economic power in the hands of women. Next, I'd like to share two key stats communicating the big picture. They worked for me as an eye-opener and strategically impacted my work. Globally, 1 in 3 businesses are owned by women. Yet, on average, women-owned businesses win less than 1% of all procurement spent by large corporations and government globally. Yes, you heard me correctly, less than 1%. What do we learn here? These two stats are the two sides of the same coin. The shocking reality on one side and the tremendous opportunity ahead on the other. This data tells us women entrepreneurs make substantial contributions to our economies. It also tells us the story of a market failing to include women entrepreneurs globally. As Elizabeth Vasquez, a GRP pioneer, said, women continue to be invisible as suppliers of services and products in our global value chain. Here is the opportunity. These numbers are proving that procurement policies and practices can be used as a powerful strategy to support women entrepreneurs. More so, as we are focused on building back better from the economic impact of the pandemic and rethinking business practices with a DEI mindset. This massive gap in representation brings the opportunity to advance action to support women businesses across the globe. To summarize, a unique opportunity to not only build back better, but build back equal. Women businesses need to have an equal footing while competing for contract opportunities, which is absolutely critical to inclusive growth. SDG 5 calls for all stakeholders, including business, to work collectively to remove barriers to women's empowerment and achieve gender equality by 2030. Large organizations must have a proactive strategy for ensuring women-owned businesses are able to compete and win their business. So let's talk about the critical role a business can play in reducing systemic discrimination and redressing the balance. The influence of the private sector on human rights, labor, the environment, and even on the structure of society itself is enormous. Estimates suggest that corporate procurement offices manage an average of 64% of a company's total enterprise spend. 64%. The value of corporate contracts adds up trillions of dollars worldwide. Yet, the gendered impact of corporate spending have been overlooked and underestimated. This number tells us that corporate purchasing power alone has the potential to make or break millions of businesses. No need to be an expert to understand that GRP is the most untapped potential and biggest opportunity to drive change fast. So where do we start? A good way for companies to start integrating GRP and SDI into their business strategies is to leverage the experts and valuable resources at their disposal. At Mary Kay, we started our journey by signing on to the Women's Empowerment Principle, also referred to as WEPs, alongside 6,000 companies around the world. The WEPs are a set of principles offering guidance to business on how to promote gender equality and women's empowerment in the workplace, marketplace, and community. Established by our partners, UN Global Compact and UN Women in 2010, the WEPs are grounded in the recognition that business have a stake in and a responsibility for gender equality and women's empowerment. In 2021, Mary Kay joined the UN Global Compact Target Gender Equality Initiative, also committed to accelerate the achieving of equality in business. We also consult with experts such as We Connect International. We Connect is a global NGO providing its member buyers with a peer network of other large buyers committed to gender-inclusive sourcing. We Connect provides its members immediate access to a global database of women suppliers, access to local and global inclusive sourcing best practices, template, etc., making it easier for the large buyers to engage with women suppliers of all sizes, sectors, and locations. Transparency is also a fundamental element to help build the proper picture. To affect change, it is also important for companies to be transparent about how they promote gender equality in their chains. Here at Mary Kay, and according to our most recent data, 12% of our indirect suppliers are women, minority, or veteran-owned. 5% of our direct suppliers are women, minority, or veteran-owned. 66% of our procurement team are women. Is it a good place to start? Absolutely. Is it enough? Absolutely not. We are not going to miss the opportunity to include more women to our supply chain. If companies of all sizes, starting with large corporations like us, can own their data, shape their roadmap towards equality, then we can change the world fast. Let me now highlight why GRP is not only the right thing to do, it is also the smart thing to do. The effects of GRP are far-reaching and span beyond women's economic empowerment, affecting corporate profitability, risk mitigation, and sustainability. There are many reasons to do this. Of course, equality, but also purely business. I see at least 6. Let's breeze through. Positive GDP impacts. According to a 2020 McKinsey report, giving women entrepreneurs access to equal economic opportunities could add 13 trillion to the global GDP by 2030. Innovation and performance. Studies show that companies with equal representation at decision-making level deliver better results. Diverse supply chains mirror better consumer trends and provide companies with key insights to diversify their portfolio of products and services. Economic resilience. Globally, women already comprise 1/3 of all business owners, making critical economic and social contributions. The Great Recession from 2007 and the recent pandemic showed that women businesses are resilient, innovative, inclusive, environmentally friendly, in short, solutionaries for the global 2030 SDGs agenda. Talent. Sourcing from women suppliers allows companies to address increasing talent shortage and also to include more brain power to the procurement pipeline. Ripple effect. As women suppliers win more business, their families, local communities, and national economies benefit. That's the ripple effect of women's success. Studies show that women entrepreneurs tend to reinvest up to 90% of their earning in their families and communities, thus linking inclusive economic growth directly to development. And finally, brand reputation. All stakeholders are now asking for the private sector to step in and solve societal issues. GRP and supplier diversity and inclusions are great ways to do this. I hope I have already convinced you. But before I wrap up my speech, I would like to share about our external efforts, advocacy and capacity building to advance women's economic inclusion together with our partners. Mary Kay Ash, our founder, was an entrepreneur and a visionary. When she created her company in 1963, she did it with a unique commitment to gender equality through an entrepreneurship lens. Inspired by our mission, we wanted to bring entrepreneurship to all women and girls around the world. We brought this vision to the United Nations, And this is how the Women Entrepreneurship Accelerator was born back in 2019. The Women's Entrepreneurship Accelerator, also referred to as WIA, is a multi-stakeholder partnership convening 6 UN agencies: International Labour Organization, International Trade Center, International Telecommunication Union, UN Development Programme, UN Global Compact, UN Women, and Mary Kay to empower 5 million women entrepreneurs by 2030. GRP is at the core of WIA's work. Together with the UN partners, we are advocating and building capabilities around the world for a greater uptake of GRP. Together, we seek to convince companies to take on more inclusive procurement. How do we do that? Let me share 3 of our latest initiatives. First initiative. For WIA, UN Women has developed an advocacy brief establishing the business case for GRP. To inform the global brief, UN Women engaged with over 350 stakeholders in 2021, with 150 private sector companies, including Mary Kay, and incorporated 7 case studies on companies' procurement journeys. The advocacy brief cautions that failing to adopt GRP is a wasted opportunity. The evidence is clear. Reducing gender inequalities is good for business and is smart economics. And WIA calls on the private sector to adopt GRP strategies, integrate women to the global value chain, and advance the SDGs. Second initiative. In March, our partner UN Global Compact produced a GRP advocacy video powered by Mary Kay. UN Global Compact is engaging with a membership of about 12,000 companies to help create a community of practice on GRP. Third initiative. In the Europe and Central Asia region, UN Women and partners have advanced a pilot to build an enabling GRP ecosystem. We chose the Europe region because women account for less than a third of entrepreneurs in Europe. Even though women get half of the investment capital compared to men, their companies deliver twice as much revenue for each dollar invested. The first ever gender-responsive procurement and investment training, designed by UN Women and partners, was launched in Turkey, which is a big entrepreneurial hub. 8 companies such as L'Oréal and Coca-Cola participated. In 2021 and again in 2022, UN Women and Kagider, the women business organization in Turkey, with the support of Mary Kay, joined forces to launch the Women's Entrepreneurship Expo. The goal of the Expo is for women to connect, create, and accelerate their businesses. Back in April, 25 women entrepreneurs from 9 countries across the region joined a boot camp and went through an intensive training program to increase their capacities in attracting investors to their businesses. The bootcamp culminated in the Investors Pitch Finale and brought women entrepreneurs together with investors to pitch their early-stage startups, minimum viable products, and business blueprints. In conclusion, we have a powerful tool on hand. At Mary Kay, we are proud to be an integral part of this systemic transformation. Women cannot wait. The world cannot wait.